Hey, what is up, guys? We are here with the Kitana character breakdown. If you haven't seen our character breakdown videos before, talk about a character's notable normals, strings, special moves, differences between their variations, as well as go over a very basic game plan. So Kitana, hit and run character, that's kind of her thing, right? Pretty good at frustrating you, coming in for a little bit of offense, and then kind of backing up and having pretty good ways to keep you out, as well as just being pretty good at escaping situations as well, right? That's kind of her thing. Frustrating hit and run, really fun character to play as, not very fun to fight against, but she's just really cool, really cool, neat character. I definitely recommend checking her out if you guys are into that style of play. So let's talk a little bit about some of her strings and normals. So as far as her normal goes, back two, really great, right? This is reaches really far. It's an overhead attack, and that's pretty important for her to establish, right? Her forward two is this lunging mid like that, really great ground normal. That is something that I definitely think is really strong for the character. Her other normal, she has two strings out of her back one. She has back 1-2 that I would at least recommend. Back 1-2, which is neutral on block. She has back 1-4, which is a low into it, so that's pretty good for canceling into whatever combos. She has forward 1-1-2, special cancelable as well, and then she has a couple of strings that make this character unique. So the interesting thing about Kitana is she has strings that make her fly up in the air, and you can actually cancel them into her airborne moves. So if you do, for instance, her forward 2-2 up 4, she can actually cancel it into whatever special move she wants. I'm just going to do fan because, you know, you'll probably do fan pretty often. So yeah, forward 2-2 up 4, air cancelable, up 2-4, air cancelable. So pretty unique, right? And that helps her juggles, that helps her corner carry, that helps her, you know, combo potential. Pretty interesting way to make the character's, you know, traditional air fan combos work. Really like it. I think that's a pretty cool thing. Another great normal, forward 4-3. This is like a launcher, puts them over your head so that you can combo them and go into whatever you would like. So yeah, that is the normals that I would bring up to your immediate attention. Those are the ones I would take a look at, the strings. But she has a bunch of strings. She has a ton of strings that you guys can definitely take a look at for yourselves when you mess around with her in training mode. Let's talk about her universal attacks. You already saw the fan. I already threw that. EX version looks like that. Air version is still a high attack, so there's that as well. But she does have the air fan. You notice the angle that it goes at, right? It's straight. So she covers a different angle than some air projectile characters might. But just keep that in mind, because that'll be important when we get to Mournful. So that is her rising fan. She also has her throat slash, which is pretty interesting move for Kitana. It's back forward 3. Looks like this. It looks like a command throw, but it's actually not. It's just a mid. And that's a really good combo ender as well. She has her rising fan down back 2. Same kind of thing. EX hits twice. Does a little bit of extra damage on there. She has her lift, which in this variation, which is Royal Storm, it shoots an actual tornado out. And EX version goes full screen. Looks like that. But it doesn't do that in every variation. I'll show you guys the regular lift when we get to the next variation. She also has her air float, which is a pretty cool move. Down back 2. She can cancel it into projectiles or normals. She can do whatever she wants out of it, really. It's pretty unique. The other thing that's really cool about it is you can do stuff like this, and it's a double overhead on hit and it combos, and on block it is also a double overhead that you have to deal with and block. You can also do stuff like this, so you can do like a delayed jump in. So if they try to hit a button or they don't block it right, it can hit them. Pretty unique stuff, and you can also use it, you know, of course, when you're zoning and running away and stuff like that too. So that is her air float. As far as stuff that is specific to Royal Storm, she has this 2-4 string. Looks like that. Special cancelable, you know, into whatever you want to do. There's that. There's also her down back 3. This is a classic Kitana move. You can do it on the ground. EX version. Looks like that. Does a couple extra % damage. Looks like that. There is also the special, you know, tornado. We talked a little bit about that. And then there is her down back 4. Looks like this. It's a projectile reflect. Now the interesting thing about it is that, let me just wait a little bit and then I'll throw the fireball. She can actually hold it for quite a long time before it runs out, right? It's pretty unique. So she has a projectile reflect that she doesn't really have to commit to for you know, exactly at the right perfect moment or spacing or whatever. She can hold on to it for quite a while, and that can be pretty useful. So that is Royal Storm. Pretty good at defensive stuff because it also has a reflect. So it kind of forces you to approach the character, which is kind of her game. Assassin has a couple of unique moves that I think are pretty interesting on Kitana, and also the outfit is really sick. I think the outfit for Kitana in this is really dope. So in Assassin, she gains her down back 3, which is like the real move, the real move to write home about in this variation. 12% EX version has a little extra hit at the end, which is really important. I'll get to that, why that's important in a second. 19% damage, right? Now, she also has a parry, down back 4, which I will show you guys what that looks like. I'll have him walk up and drops from the sky, stabs him, 15% damage, which is pretty chunky amount of damage. Now, there's also the most interesting part about this variation is her sharpen. So it makes all of her fan attacks do extra damage. And you guys, as you can probably tell, she has a lot of moves that do fans. Like almost everything somehow has a fan attached to it in one way, shape, or another, right? So sharpen, her eyes glow red. That does 5%. That does 8%. Normally it would do 3% and 6%, so just keep that in mind. So everything's going to do a little bit more damage than before, right? Which is pretty important. But also, if I do that down back 3 from before, even without EXing it, it does the extended version for 23% damage. Pretty good, right? And that still works in combos and stuff like that too. So, you know, this variation is a little bit more aggressive, I'd say, because you can go for that sharpen up after knocking someone down. You can sharpen, go in, get some pressure, get some offense, and if you start hitting them, then they're going to take a bunch of extra damage. So that's, you know, pretty good. You can still zone in this variation too. I definitely don't think zoning is a bad idea in this variation, but if you want to play a little bit more aggressive, then this might be the variation for you. So let's take a look at Mournful. Now, when I mentioned before that angle she throws her air fans is important, you'll see why, because Mournful has all of Jade's moves, and it's mournful because Jade's no longer alive, so, you know, the mourning. But the air projectile is an overhead, and look at the angle it covers. So if Kitana has trouble dealing with that angle on screen, then this is a matchup where I would definitely, that was a matchup where I think she should switch variation. The EX version of it has the bounce back. The EX version of it also doesn't reach full screen with the air one. It's a little bit short. So there's that, but it does have the bounce back effect, and you can combo off of it into whatever you want. So like you know, whatever kind of combos you want to go for. So there's that, right? And that's important. It covers a different angle. She also has shadow kick, which is a classic. That is like, this is like the main stuff with Jade, right? That was one of the things. This into that. That is classic Jade. There's also down back 3, which is her her staff grab, and there's the EX version of it. Whoops, I was out of range, which looks really cool. So yeah. That is her Jade variation. Now, the thing about this is that this kind of switches up because she still has all the classic Kitana moves, right? She still has the lift, which looks like that in this variation, by the way, and the other variation as well. It only looks different in the first one. So yeah, she has EX lift. She has all her normal Jade stuff, right? So she, you know, she still has this kind of stuff. She can like float into that projectile. So she still has her normal Kitana stuff, but she has a way to change things up and play this specific matchup. So I think it's pretty cool. Definitely a different way to play the character. Pretty fun and interesting. And I just think Kitana's a pretty neat character in general in this game. And yeah, hopefully people mess around with her and enjoy her. I think she's pretty fun. Thank you guys for watching the Kitana character breakdown, and I'll see you guys again soon.